When I was just about to turn 40, ready to roll in the halftime of life's game, I made a conscious decision to leave the corporate world to start something new. Yet not in my wildest imagination could I foresee that one day I could utilize my previous formal training and experience to serve a very different purpose. To tell people that there is an organic way to learn Chinese that finally would make sense. It was a road less traveled by, but fortunately, I had this man's example to live by. He told us, you have to trust the dots will somehow connect in your future. And he was right. It all started on one day with one home lesson. Determined to make a good first impression on my kids of their heritage language, I conceived some tactful and creative ways. So I thought, for those of you running a bilingual family like me, you know what I'm talking about. It does take some creativity to motivate our kids to learn that second language, doesn't it? So this is our first lesson. I said to Joseph and Jonathan, Chinese characters are super easy and fun as they're sketch drawings of real-world objects. Shall we draw together? 1 represented by 1 line, 2 represented by 2 lines, 3 lines. Person, look like person standing nice and tall on 2 feet. Mouth, take the shape of wide open mouth. Mountain resemble the shape of 3 picked mountains. So simple and straightforward, isn't it? Now, another cool thing about the Chinese character is they can all be pronounced with just 1 syllable with no exception. Yay, the kids are primed and pumped up, ready for pronunciation drill. And our first lesson was as smooth as a sailing boat. Until the second time. Then my 6-year-old asked me, how come 4 is not 4 lines, 5 is not 5 lines, 6 is not 6 lines, why I look like this? This is where it gets difficult. You see, with this cute drawing method, I couldn't even get my son to write a simple character for I. Another mom told me, my 7-year-old daughter wrote herself to tears when practicing the character for putting on hat. It just doesn't make sense to her. Yet, we humans are essentially sense-making animals. When things aren't making sense to us, our brains treat them as random facts, which are processed by hard memorization, which is the most inefficient form of human cognition, vulnerable to the passing of time, a natural phenomenon we call forgetting. There ought to be a better way. The fact is, only 10% of modern-day Chinese characters known as pictograms can be drawn in this way. The remaining 90% are ideograms and compound characters that are just too complex or too abstract to be drawn out. How do you draw I or he or she? As a matter of fact, of the top 100 most frequently used Chinese characters, statistically sampled from a corpus of 20 million, only 19 are pictograms. Jonathan's question has sent me back to the drawing board. It seems that my mumsy hat wasn't sufficient enough, so I put out my old hat of linguistics and another for artificial intelligence and another for user experience design. Then I grabbed my trusty researcher's headlight, ran down the rabbit hole, went all the way to the origin of the Chinese language, my own mother tongue I grew up speaking and using every day, yet totally unaware of its ingenuity and beauty. There, I got a glimpse of the genesis of the Chinese language, an ancient script known as the Oracle Bone Script. The world's only ancient script still living today. It is the jewel that crowns China's civilization of 5,000 years, credited with unifying the Middle Kingdom for more than 2,000 years. There, I found a glimmering torch, yet bright enough to shed light onto the path leading to new discoveries that would be instrumental to an organic way to learn Chinese that makes sense to people of all ages. Learn Chinese through pictures and stories, tap into 2 innate abilities we are naturally born with. The first is our brain's actual ordinary ability to process visual patterns, to recognize the pattern and to apply them over and over again by our primary visual cortex. The second is our innate language capacity. At the core is a remarkable thing we call meaning. Meaning is intrinsic to human beings, just like our natural ability to eat and drink. Meaning is like the beacon in the ocean, sending signals for us to follow. Let me show you what I mean. These two characters probably do not make much sense to the majority of this audience until you see the things they refer to. Notice the black and white script written on the illustration. It is the original oracle bone script, closely reminiscent to the actual thing they represent, from which modern-day Chinese characters evolve. Hand and foot are intimate parts of our body. So many of our daily activities depend on using hand and foot, like wave, say hi, or walk, or kick. Now, here comes a key point. In the Chinese language, intangible ideas such as left, right, when action going on is also expressed through the tangible such as hand and foot. But how? You just may wonder. Well, the secret again lies in meaning. Like all other pictograms, the character for hand and the foot are the basic building blocks, functioning much like the DNA, carrying forward its original meaning in constructing a sequence of modern-day compound characters. Oops, something slipped and fell down because a loose hand did not hold on tight. The new character shi means lose control. Do you spy a tilted hand in it? Raise your hand above the eye means to look, but not just look casually, but look closely, like the Monkey King was always looking at things ahead. This is a footprint. Can you imagine walking with just one foot? No one can, right? Not even fox or wolf. So when an ancestor saw just one footprint, it was a sure signal that someone or animal stopped there. Therefore, this character retained its original meaning, stop. Now, when walking towards a target, your footprint is directly facing the target. Therefore, this character means straight. Do you spy a footprint in it? Now, when you are walking straight towards the target, the action is actually happening. Therefore, this character also means just happening, continuing. When one footprint is followed by another footprint, obviously someone is walking, and the distance between the two footprints is one step. Therefore, this character means step. Do you spy a footprint on the top and the one at the bottom? Notice there's some morphological change at the bottom one. This simply means some change in the form of writing, but the meaning still stays the same. Still remember the character for person? A person walking, swinging arms wide means to walk. It's an action-packed verb. Do you spy a person on the top and the footprint at the bottom? It's an action-packed verb. Can you feel the dynamics of the action? Now that we are on action, shall we do some action? Shall we all stand up for some kinesthetic learning? We all stand up, yes. Okay, I know that you don't have much space around you, but let's just pretend we are walking. While you walk, say in Chinese with me, 走. One more time, great. 走. Perfect. All right, still remember these numbers, 1, 2, 3. While you walk, say the numbers with me. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. All right, let's put a simple sentence together. 1, 2, 3, let's take a walk. 1, 2, 3, 走一走. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 走一走. Attention. Walk one step. 走一步. Walk one step. 走一步. Now let's do some synchronized walking by first turning to our right. Walk 3 steps. 走三步. Walk 3 steps. 走三步. Fantastic! Give yourself a round of applause. Back to your seat. Now you see, you don't just learn one character at a time. You learn a cluster of them, connected by meanings and stories with visual cues, connect to the common sense you already have. Once connected, the beacon turns on one by one, forming a bigger and stronger network known as the neural pathway. A team of neuroscientists at UC Berkeley found that words tend to cluster by semantic categories in the human brain. In 2016, using advanced imaging technology, they mapped out a comprehensive atlas of where different meanings are represented in the human brain. Shall we see 2 more examples? On your left is dagger axe. On your right is big dagger axe. Do you spy a dagger axe in it with the big blade? This is the character for I. Remember, that's the character that Jonathan has a question on? Do you now see a hand component in it? Do you also see a dagger axe component in it? It's a big dagger axe, isn't it? Now put this 2 components together. It could simply mean hand holding a dagger axe. But what has it to do with first-person pronoun I? Well, according to the etymological research, the creator of the ancient script reserved the best and the strongest weapon as a totem for the first-person pronoun I. In the egocentric worldview, which we humans inevitably fall into given our mortal nature, I am the person who holds the strongest dagger axe. I am strong. I am undefeatable. Now you see, self-confidence is not neuroscience at all. It is as ancient as the Oracle bone script. Here's another common character. 找 means to look for, try to seek, find. Its original Oracle bone script is unfortunately missing. Therefore, there's no archaeological evidence to prove its original meaning. However, it is obviously made of the hand component and the dagger axe component. Now, let's put these 2 characters side by side. Notice that in look for, 2 component hand and dagger axe are a little bit separated and then detached from each other. Yet in I, the 2 components are joined together. Is this just pure coincidence? After all, there could be so many errors in copying text to text over a period of thousands of years. Or could there be any lost wisdom or tall ideas hidden in behind that seemingly insignificant small gap? Or maybe, just maybe, these 2 characters reveal some profound ideas about the big question, who I am. Don't we all spend a lifetime looking and searching for that piece of weapon, the perfect dagger axe, exquisite lightsaber that empowers you, that is supposed to be held in your hand, but no one else, that is the love of your life? Monkey King traveled to the bottom of the East Sea to look for his pickaxe. For a few lucky ones, like the Doctor Strange, he stumbled upon it by sheer luck or destiny, whatever you call it. Some found it at the age of 4, some 74. And many of us are still looking and searching. But until that day, when our hand lay upon that perfect, exquisite dagger axe, separated no more, then the I is integrated and it has become whole. So here's my call to you. Grow yourself a Chinese language tree from its root. This 300 Oracle bone script carrying the DNA for 3,000 essential modern-day Chinese characters once learned will give you above 99% proficiency level. These characters are visual, meaningful, smart, efficient, and above all, wise. Sow a seed to learn Chinese language today. You may harvest a tree of knowledge and wisdom tomorrow. Thank you.